Alrighty, we are back. So this is probably a really good example of how baking can be a bit of a moving target sometimes. Because originally I said we were going to mix, Autolyse, salt it, mix, Autolyse, but does it have to be this loud right now? It's okay. It adds realism. But it's a little warm today. So what I don't want to do is set this dough up for failure. What I don't want to do is to have it be too warm, and I stretch and I fold, I leave and I come back, I walk away. And it's basically, if I leave that dough there for too long and it overproofs, the original starter, it's kind of just feeding it a buffet. This whole entire batch of dough will basically just become one big batch of starter, to an extent. So what I did was, it felt kind of warm, so I just threw the 20 grams of salt in. I mixed for about 3 minutes. And then I covered it, and I set another timer for about 40 minutes. So it's been resting total, well, I guess it's fair to just say it's been resting for 40 minutes after the mix and throwing some salt in. So we have our bag here, nothing fancy, just, covering it to keep it moist. And see if you can see in here. If I were to mix this up, the sides would be really clean. It's not going to be too sticky. It's tacky to the touch, which you'll find. We've got our flexible bench scraper. It's going to go in this. I don't normally do this, but I thought it would be a good example for you turds. I'll lower or raise this rubber band where the starting point is, and I don't even know why that's here. So let's lower our lousy mixer. We're gonna scrape the Jesus out of our dough hook. I hate getting this shit on me, so I'm really picky about it getting on my hands. So I don't have to wash my hands like 14 times. See how that came off pretty cleanly? It's not all gooey. We're gonna, let's just do this. And all I'm gonna do is dump this, or I'm gonna rest it on here. I'll use the round side here to scoop, because there's a little bump on the bottom of this mixing bowl. And we're gonna toss it in here. Voila. Relatively clean. If I were you, or if you were me, or if we were each other, I would either scrape this and rinse it and wash it immediately, or I would soak it. In my experience, no matter, even if you scrub this thing right here, right now, there's always some shit left on there. So I tend to just soak it. I'll scrape it and then I'll soak it. All right. This is all just old yeast and dough. I don't really sweat it. I only do this for my my supposed kids. So I'll raise this little line here. I don't really sweat that old yeast stuff. Typically when you use your bannetons and you season them, basically that's just leaving the old leftover moisture from the yeast of when the dough does that final proof in it. So that's why I don't really worry about this stuff. Anyway, we're about there-ish. Yeah. So we'll see how far we get. I predict somewhere, I don't know, around here-ish. For the next 30 or 40 minutes, I'll do a stretch and a fold. That's that technique I was telling you where you just do this, you just do that. I can do one right now really quick. My hand's wet. All right, I'm gonna get to the bottom. I'm gonna pull this up to about where I feel it's not going to tear, because if you're tearing it, you're ripping all your gluten structure apart. All right, that's one side. I'm gonna turn it. Ideally, you'd wet your hand again. If you're quick, you only have to wet it once. Same deal. All right. That's pretty much it. All right. We're gonna cover this. Excuse me, rising YouTube star here, background. Oh my God, that is so toxic. So toxic. Not my lines. Okay, all right. I'm not gonna show you every single one of these. You can see what it sort of looks like in the beginning, but you'll see what it looks like in the end. And we'll start from, or we'll pick up there. All right.